Bonjour mes amis, welcome to my channel. I would like to present my watch collection as of January the 1st, 2018. I've only been collecting watches really for the past 6 months, but as you can see, it has really grown quite fast. And from now on, I'm gonna have to set a few of these watches and really pare it down to the essentials. But it's so much fun, especially the Seikos. You can see many of them here. We will talk about Omega and Longines, Zeppelin, Hamilton, and a lot about Seiko as well. So I'll try to keep it short because there's too many watches to really talk about in details. You can find all the specs online and in other videos. Although some of these watches are not readily available, so you don't see many videos about some of them. So feel free to ask questions in the comments, and if you'd like to see a review more in depth about a particular watch or ask any question about it, please feel free to do so. Now, for the 4 years prior to 2017, this was my only watch. I really liked the look of it. It came on a nice steel bracelet, and this was my daily watch for 4 years. And it's a quartz from Seiko, and it's been ticking away for 4 years without changing the battery, always on time, which is quite amazing, especially when you get into mechanical watches, which are never on time. And I just enjoyed the look. It was very versatile, worked with the suit, worked for the weekend, and I never worried about banging it about. Actually, it's a very good style, and I've never seen another one quite like it. Maybe I think it was just a Japan release that I was lucky to find here in Hong Kong. And I've put it on NATO's now, so it really gave a different vibe to the watch. And I'd like to use this video to give a few tips to new watch collectors, well, such as myself. A few things that I've learned over the past few months. And the first thing, I guess, is that you should find a watch that suits your style and your lifestyle. You know, if you're in a suit every day and just one day of the week are casual, you need something that's going to work with the suit. And the opposite, if you have a very active lifestyle and never sit in an office, you're not going to need a dress watch, because you're going to be scared about banging it about. And same with the colors, find something that works with you. I find that the blue with a stainless steel works with everything usually, or the black one works very good with everything. And so I kind of pair my watches with depending on what I wear. If it's a dark blue, light blue suit, gray. Some of the watches just pop better, with a gray suit and white stripes. I love to wear, for example, my Omega Speedmaster. So let's get this one out of the way because I never really wear it again anymore. I really enjoy wearing the mechanical watches. All of these are automatic except, of course, for the Moonwatch, which is manual wind. That as well is an aspect that you have to consider when you're going to buy a watch. If you're going to buy just one single watch, do you want something automatic or not? Do you want the power reserve on display, which is what you have here on the Zeppelin? And I can shake it, and there you go, it starts. Actually, it's a good place to start the Zeppelin because I saw this watch at my sister's house while I was visiting last July, and I really loved it. I thought it had everything I liked: great case, work, great shape. They also make these in quartz, but this is the automatic one. And with the power reserve, it's very useful because when you have automatic watch, and if you have so many watches and you don't wear them every day, you're never quite sure how far down you are with the reserve. With the manual wind, you know exactly how much you have left. When you fully wind the Moonwatch, you have 48 hours or 42 hours to go. So it's better to wind it back up every day. But with the automatic, you can just shake them or just simply wear them. It's easier if you have only a couple of watches than if you have 20 like me. I think I'm a sick guy and I should really sell these watches and get help from a doctor. Anyway, this watch has a beautiful sunburst dial. It works with everything. It's casual, dressy casual, I would say. One thing I don't like about this watch is the tiny crown. It's a 2824 ETA 2824 movement, very reliable, keeps good time, and you find the same movement in this watch. And the Hamilton might be a modification of that movement, although this one has the GMT complication. So this one has a 24-hour complication, but it's not GMT. I mean, it's just the same time as the main time. So it's kind of a totally useless complication. I mean, I'm not in the military, and even if I was, I could tell the military time without this complication. But I like that the date is here at the 4 o'clock position, and apart from the annoying crown here, it's a lovely watch with a display case back. It's not decorated, so there's no point in really showing it to you. And so I see that watch at my sister's house, and I say, wow, did you buy that for your husband? Yeah, but he never wears it. Hey, sell it back to me. You can cover some of your costs. And she was like, no, it's a gift. I'm going to keep it. And I ended up buying the same watch. And it's great when you wear a blue suit, blue shirt or something to wear this watch. It really... it's very dressy and it ties up your look. It's a nice cocktail watch, before you go to the Seiko cocktail watch, which I find a bit too girly. You should consider the one of the Zeppelin. These run about 420 euros, and yeah, it's a good value watch. From there, I was watching videos. Big shout out to the Urban Gentry and TGV. His channel on YouTube is fantastic, and I love his review. He's very enthusiastic and very positive about the watches that he reviews. And for example, he's reviewed this one, that one, the SKX, of course, the Flightmaster. I bought this watch because of him, and this one, the Saab 33. Yeah, I bought those watches because of his reviews, and he's spot on. His opinion is spot on, and I think a lot of people buy these watches. One of the reasons why I started getting into watches is because of a commercial for the Oris Diver 65, and I looked into it and I tried to research about it and see if it would be a good watch for me. And then I saw the video for the Longines Legends Diver, and I was like, oh yeah, that is better, because the Oris has so many iterations. I couldn't choose one, and I thought they're all a bit, they have a very strong style, and I would get maybe tired of it. And then I saw the video about the Longines Legend Diver without the date, which has become a collector's item and has shot up in value because of the beautiful symmetry, and because it looks exactly like the original model that it is reissue of. The date does change the aspect, and while I do enjoy having a date on my watch, on this one I'm happy I don't. And actually, when you pick it up and you just have to set the time, you don't need to set the date. So it's another aspect to consider when you choose a watch. Do you need the date that much? I find myself looking at the date quite often, but it's a bit annoying to have to reset it if you don't use a watch every day. So if you have just one watch, then it's great. But in the case of the Longines, I was very lucky to find it in Japan for a real bargain. I bought it secondhand. It's another tip for you. You gotta look into the secondhand market, because most people don't wear their watches hard, and a few scuffs, they will happen within a couple of months anyway. So it's great if somebody else has done them, so you don't have to worry and be precious about the watch so much. So I got this for a song and dance. It's worth twice the price that I paid. I just changed I went to Longines here in Hong Kong to get a new band, and look at it, it looks really fresh. And it's a beautiful, it's a big watch, and with very big lugs. So my wrist, for reference, is 17 centimeter, of circumference, which is 6 3/4 inches, I believe. And this is just the limit of what I can handle, but at least the lugs angle down, so it looks pretty good on the wrist. Surely a classic. This watch you can buy if you can handle the size. This can be your only watch because it works with a suit. It works on the weekend. It's a real diver, 300-meter diver. It has loom, not great, but decent loom. It's classic style. It's vintage, but it's modern. So it's all in one, and the bezel is inside. So it's also something to consider. Do you want to have the classic outside bezel, or the screw-down crown and turn the bezel on the inside? I think this look is fantastic. Great execution from Longines. Okay, while we are talking about the other brands other than Seiko's, let me switch to the Hamilton, which is a pretty recent purchase. And this one too is fantastic. It works with everything. And I wanted to have a GMT complication, a real GMT complication, because I have family in Europe and also an office in Europe. And so at a glance you can see that they are sleeping right now, for example. And I like to have a crown on this side. I don't know, this look just appeals to me. It comes with a nice clasp that tucks in the excess. I have small wrists, so there's quite a lot of excess, and it's annoying when it's just sticking out. And the little thingies are also sometimes annoying. So this is a great system, and you find it as well on this Omega here. Of course, the quality of the Omega bracelet is incredible. It's the best rubber you'll ever have on your wrist. Yeah, the GMT complication, look into it. Hamilton, this watch, accuracy wise, is not the best. It runs quite fast, I guess, if I remember well, like 15 seconds fast. And my next least accurate watch would be the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. It is not COSC certified. For those who don't know, COSC is chronometer certification in Switzerland. And I think it's -2+5 or something like that. Where this one runs about 15 seconds fast, 10-15 seconds a day. While my other two Omega are just spot on. So yeah, this Hamilton runs a bit fast, but it's better to run fast than run slow. You know, it runs fast means every day when you put it, every day you can just pull out the crown, hack the seconds, and just wait 10 seconds and just push it back in. I work in the bank, so I have a Bloomberg, and I have the atomic time on it, so I just use that as my reference every day to set my watches. Lovely execution here. This is the Jazzmaster GMT, and I really recommend this watch. I mean, look at the case work. The case is lovely. It's quite thin, wears great. Both crowns are signed. Great action to the. This one is not a screw down crown, by the way. This one is screwed down because it operates the rotating bezel on the inside to change the location of the GMT of the second time zone. And yeah, it's a lovely watch. This one too could be your only watch, especially if you need the GMT complication. You have to consider which complication is useful to you. You know, do you need the date? I mean, if you can't tell what day of the week it is, you probably have some mental problems. So I think that's a useless complication. The date is a lot more useful, and the GMT, well, it's not that important. You know, you can always subtract a few hours, but it's great to have it. I really enjoy it, and it has a sort of sentimental value to me. Moving on, so we've done the Longines, the Zeppelin, and the Hamilton. I think I will leave the Seiko's for part 2 of this video, and let's move on to the Omega. So the first one I got was actually this one. I went to try some Zenith El Primero, and I saw they had the Panda dial, and I loved it. And when I saw that Omega was doing This smaller version of the Speedmaster with the 3330 caliber, which is a modification of the Valjoux 7750, I believe, but heavily modified with the coaxial escapement, silicone hairspring. This watch is very resistant to magnetism, and the accuracy is dead on. Fantastic. The date is neatly tucked in. I love the bezel look. It's matte, and the AR coating on this one, it's another thing to consider when you buy a watch. Seiko uses hardlex. Everybody usually wants to have a sapphire crystal, and AR coating allows you to have less reflections. Okay, here in the office there's quite a lot of neon, so it's annoying. But this watch in real life just doesn't reflect anything, and the coating is so good that at this angle it looks like you have no glass at all, no crystal at all. Look at that, it looks like you could touch the dial. And while we're here, look at the clou de Paris finish of these sub dials, and I love that everything related to the chronometer is yellow, all the hands. The pushers are very strong, very sturdy. Oh, of course the watch is not working. I haven't, all these watches I've been sleeping for a week. I just had a week off. Okay, let's start the watch. All right, are we there yet? Yeah. There you go, the chrono is running. Very sturdy click. Make sure that you always stop the chronometer before you reset it. Unlike the Speedmaster Reduced, the buttons, the pushers here and the crown are aligned. This watch has a fantastic titanium clasp and the softest rubber ever. It's so comfortable, it's solid and comfortable. I bought this one slightly used, so I'm not too precious about it. It's great. It has the trademark twisted lugs of Omega, and the back has the Speedmaster logo. It's a column wheel chronograph, and you have the other details, and it's a good water resistance for a chronograph. It's 100 meter. Of course, I don't advise you to push those buttons underwater, and it has a power reserve of 50 hours, which is very good as well. And yeah, it's not a very well-known watch from Omega, but I think more people should look into this because it's a very modest size, and it wears really great. I think it's what, 38 millimeter. I don't think it's 40. It has a big wobble because the Valjoux 7750 only winds in one direction. So it's also something to consider for you before you purchase a watch, is what kind of movement you want behind it. Do you want an in-house movement? Do you want a generic movement? Do you want something that winds in both directions? This one winding only in one direction means the other direction, when I do this, I can feel a huge wobble because the rotor just goes, the spins without any resistance. It's very amusing. Let's put it back here. I like this old watch box because I have small wrists, and these cushions have the exact size of my wrist. So for these watches which have that kind of a clasp, most cushions would be too big, and I would have to really stretch the bracelet if I wanted to close it. So I recommend this you to find a watch box that's suited for your needs. Now let's move on to the Moonwatch, the holy grail for many people, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's a bigger watch. I think it's 42 millimeter, but because it's a manual wind, it is not very large, and so it wears fantastic. And when you wear that, you just feel like you don't need anything else. This can be your only watch as well. It's a manual wind. It's old-fashioned. The chronometer, it is not COS certified, and the subdials of the minutes on the right side If you run the chronometer, the minute will only move at the end of the first minute, and then at the end of each minute. It's not a progressive sweep like you would have on this one, on the Valjoux. But yeah, it is badass. Look at those lugs, the curved lugs, the beautiful bracelet. I like bracelets, you know. I'm not very keen on putting this on a NATO anytime soon. This watch is just, I don't know, it's subdued styling. Is just at the price where it is now, you know. These watches run around $3,300, $3,400 now, brand new, with the big display box, the Moonwatch box. It's hard to beat. It's a good time to pick them up. The price has really gone down. Well, unless if you go to Omega, of course, you're gonna pay twice the price, twice that. It's gonna be like $5,000, $6,000. But I bought this one used, well under $3,000. This one was $3,300. No secret about it. I think I got one of the best price on the web, and I went to pick it up myself actually here in Hong Kong. And yeah, this is just badass. A bit. It can be slightly uncomfortable, you know. That's another thing to consider with the watches. If you have something a bit heavy, the case shape matters quite a bit. And this one, if you're running errands and it's hot, you might be a bit irritated at the end of the day. Now, finally, for this video and for this part 1 of my collection, because we're already at 20 minutes, I want to talk about the ultimate, for me, Omega movement. And this is my Omega SEAMASTER Aqua Terra. Gorgeous dial. There's so much detail. The applied markers are 3D. And I don't know if you can see, there's sort of arrows. There's different things going on within the marker as well, where the lume is applied. This one, the sweep is a bizarre 7 ticks per second. Well, usually you would have 8 with the ETAs and the Hamiltons, or 6 ticks per second with most of the Seikos running at 21,600 beats per hour. This is the in-between, and yeah, some people complain that there's a bit of a stutter, and it shouldn't happen with you shouldn't see a stutter with an Omega, and it's not as good as the Rolex, but it makes for a more reliable movement. I mean, this is a master coaxial, so this one resists magnetic fields of upwards of 15,000 Gauss, which is great for me. I play guitar, so the pickups are magnetic. I will have the watch in front of big speakers as well, which are also a source of magnetism. And also, you know, sometimes it's next to the phone, next to the iPad with the magnetic cover. So it's a great reinsurance to know that this watch will run within cost. This one is just plus or minus 2 seconds every day in, day out, no matter what you do with it. And it's ultra comfortable. It's a smaller size, 38.5 millimeter, which I think is the size that James Bond was wearing in the Skyfall when he had one of these. He had the one previous version with the framed date window, and I think that the links were not polished, or maybe polished on the side and brushed on the inside. And it's the one thing I don't like too much. It's a bit too bright, those polished links. But you know what? It's I don't know, there's a nautical theme to it, so it's fine to have a bit of brightness, a lot of brightness to the dial as well. And look at those lugs. The polishing is superb. I love the shape of the case. And of course I have to show you the movement, because this is the best movement of all the watches that I have. And if you can, I bought this one used, so you can see a few scuffs here and there. So it's a great everyday watch for me, because I know it's on time. I know I can resist all the activities that I'm gonna put it through, and it looks fantastic with anything you wear. It's great with jeans, and it's great with a suit. And look at this beautiful movement. This is what I wanted, the Omega Coaxial 8500. Pure class, pure beauty. I mean, this is unique in the market, this coaxial movement. Yeah, if you can find this one, you know, around the $3,000 mark, I really recommend you to get this and be done with your watch collecting, because yeah, it's a knockout in terms of precisions, in terms of looks. Everything is perfect on the dial. I mean, everything is applied, and there's nothing I would want to change. Some people regret that the date window is not framed on this iteration of the model, but when you see it in person, it's very different. And that's my last tip for today, before I end this video, and is that don't really trust too much what people say in the videos, you know, and their opinions, because often, or what people say on the forums, because often they talk about watches that they've never seen in person, and until you've seen a watch in person, you just don't you can't comment on it. It's ridiculous. This one in person looks fantastic. You don't care at all that the window here, the date window, is not framed. You don't care at all that the bracelet is changed and now it's polished. It's just fantastic. It has heft, but it's comfortable, and it just looks stunning. It just looks the business. It's the same with the Moonwatch. Some people are like, I like the Moonwatch, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, there's not much to it. Once you see it in person, it's like, wow, yeah, I get it. Fantastic, you know. And you're going to regret not buying it sooner. On this note, I bid you farewell. Please watch the second part of my video, where I'm going to talk about all those Seikos that you see here. And I think the Seiko fanboys, I'm one of them, will really enjoy that bit. All right, bye-bye.